Each year, B&R purchases thousands of vehicles from insurance auctions, private parties, and other sources. Upon arrival at the wrecking yard, each of these vehicles undergoes an inventory process during which it is assigned a stock number, photographed, and then the sellable parts are entered into PowerLink, our inventory management system. Once this is complete, the vehicle is ready for parts to be sold and to be processed in our dismantle shop. Dismantling is a key part of our process in the wrecking yard, where the engines and transmissions are tested, fluids are removed, and the vehicle is prepared to be moved to the wrecking yard. This video will cover some of the policies and procedures that will guide you in doing your job as safely and efficiently as possible. Safety. Always be aware of your work environment. Every building has a fire evacuation plan. Familiarize yourself with a specific one for your facility and where the gathering area is in case of a fire or other emergency. Maintain a clear path to exit the building at all times, and make sure you know where the nearest fire extinguishers are located and that you have been properly trained in their use. Also be sure that you know the locations of the nearest eye wash and first aid stations so that you can reach them quickly in the event of an emergency. During the dismantling process, we use many different pieces of equipment, including forklifts, overhead cranes, vehicle hoists, tire machines, portable gas storage systems, and AC evacuation equipment. You must be properly trained on each of these and be comfortable with their operation and controls. Never use a piece of equipment you have not been fully trained on. Be aware of all forklift movements and work on the assumption they cannot see you. Never ride as a passenger on any forklift. Be sure that you are safely out of the way as vehicles are brought in and out of the dismantling bay. Never put yourself in a position to become trapped or crushed if the vehicle were to fall. Keeping your work area clean is critical to being able to perform your job quickly, efficiently, and safely. Be sure to regularly clean up spilled fluids, as they can be a slip hazard. Certain fluids such as gasoline, oils, and diesel can also be a fire hazard when not properly handled and disposed of. Your supervisor will instruct you on the proper methods of spill cleanup and the locations of cleanup materials and spill kits. The time between vehicles is perfect to sweep and clean up your bay and dispose of unsellable parts into crush vehicles. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is provided to you at no charge by the company. This can include safety glasses, gloves, earplugs, and various other items. Make sure to always wear these items when performing any activities that require them. Your supervisor can advise you on where to get the necessary protective equipment and when it is required to be used. Preparing to dismantle. Before setting the vehicle on the hoist, perform the daily car hoist inspection. Be sure to do this inspection at the beginning of each workday. Remember, safety first. Using predetermined hand signals for safety and clarity, guide the forklift operator in placing the vehicle in the center of the car hoist. Before putting the vehicle on the hoist, verify that you have the correct stock number vehicle and correct paperwork. Every vehicle in B&R's inventory is assigned a stock number with 3 letters and 3 numbers. If the stock number has become difficult to read on the vehicle, you can always reference the VIN listed on the work order, which must match the VIN on the vehicle. Place the 4 hoist arms under vehicle. Use the manufacturer's approved lifting points. To find the correct lifting points, refer to the Lifting It Right safety manual from the Automotive Lift Institute. A copy of this manual should be attached to your hoist. There will be times when you will not be able to use the approved lifting point due to the damage on the wrecked vehicle. Consult with your supervisor for guidance in these situations. Vehicle safety check. Once the vehicle is set correctly, raise the hoist so the tires are just off the ground and shake the vehicle to verify it is stable and safe to work under. Raise the vehicle the rest of the way up and check underneath for the following. A. Damaged fuel lines or fuel tank, which could pose a fire danger. B. Check engine oil pan and oil cooling lines, transmission oil pan and cooling lines, and any other fluid container that would create a spill or fire danger. Loop cooling lines if necessary to avoid spills before starting vehicle. C. damage to the engine, transmission, or transfer case. D. Broken differential, axle assembly, or bent drive lines. E. Sharp edges such as ripped sheet metal, broken plastic, broken lines, frames, or suspension pieces. F. Ensure the wheels and suspension are secure if the vehicle is put in gear. Before lowering the vehicle, loosen the oil drain plug on the motor and check for water or antifreeze, and reclose when straight oil comes out. This one step can prevent an engine from being ruined from water contamination. Most of the vehicles you process will be to fulfill an order for a part that requires the vehicle be dismantled. Every part sold at B&R is put on a work order which has a lot of very important information on it. Before starting to work on the vehicle, be sure to read your work order thoroughly and understand it completely. Pay careful attention to the condition of the sold part and any special notes the seller has put on the work order. If the order is a conversion, be sure you are clear on everything to be included. Consult with your supervisor if there are any discrepancies or if you have questions about the order. If these details are not followed, the sale will often be canceled, so always review all paperwork before proceeding. When reading your work order, start at the top left corner of the line item, where you will see the Hollander interchange number, such as 300-05857A. The first three-digit sequence represents the part type, such as 300 for engine. The second sequence of numbers, 05857A, represents the specific fitment of that part. At the end of the 5 digits, there can also be an R or L for right or left when applicable on parts such as doors or quarter panels. Remember, the left side of the car is always the driver's side, and the right side is the passenger's side. Look carefully at the source and requested fields. The source is the vehicle in our inventory and should match the vehicle that is in your bay. The requested field is the type of vehicle that the customer has requested parts for. These often will not be the same. For example, many parts from a Chevrolet Tahoe may be the same as a Chevrolet pickup truck. Once you have reviewed and understand your work order, look over the dismantle sheet for any further instructions to follow prior to dismantling the vehicle. The dismantling report will guide you in how to dismantle that particular vehicle and which parts need to be pulled for stock or for core. Each car is unique and has its own needs. If you need clarification, be sure to consult your supervisor. During this whole process, try and get the sold item tested and ready for delivery as soon as possible. Once it has been pulled and marked, attach your work order to it and make sure it arrives at our quality control area for cleaning and final inspection. The dismantling process. A. Check the oil before starting the engine and add oil as needed. B. Check and remove any obstructions or safety hazards, such as a damaged battery. C. Check to see if the cooling system is intact. If running the engine without cooling, be careful not to overheat and damage the engine. D. Determine if there is a key. Many newer vehicles will not allow the ignition or fuel system to operate without a key or fob. You need fuel and spark to get an engine to run. Consult your supervisor. Every vehicle is different. Whenever possible, we start and run the vehicle in order to fully test the engine and perform a hot compression test. Listen to the engine run at various RPM for odd sounds such as knocking or valve clatter and watch for oil smoke. Does the motor run smoothly or does it have a misfire? If any irregular noises or other problems are detected, consult with your supervisor before proceeding. In the event you are unable to start the engine, troubleshoot the problem. Check for damaged wire harnesses or fuse box. Check fuses and relays. If necessary, replace damaged ones with some from dismantled cars. Make sure the vehicle has gas and that the security system isn't disabling it. Look for a tripped fuel relay switch, common in Fords, or inertia switch, some imports such as Kia. If you are still unable to start the engine, or if you identify a problem while running it, contact your supervisor. While warming up the engine, if possible, connect the Freon evacuation equipment to discharge the AC system. Unbolt power seats, remove the wheels and tires, and dismount them as directed by the dismantle sheet. Once the engine has warmed to operating temperature, or if your supervisor has authorized a cold compression, perform a compression test on all cylinders and record the results. If the results are not satisfactory, consult with your supervisor before proceeding. Next, raise the vehicle and perform all the necessary work underneath. 1. Remove exhaust and core all catalytic converters. 2. Remove drive shafts on all RWD, 4WD, AWD vehicles before any suspension is loosened or removed. 3. Safely drain all fluids and dispose of them per environmental and safety guidelines. 4. Safely remove and drain the fuel tank. 5. Starting at back of vehicle, loosen all major suspension, working your way forward. 6. Once everything is loosened, procedure varies by vehicle, lower vehicle. Remove the engine and transmission as one unit when possible, taking care not to damage them or other parts on the vehicle during the process. As part of our quality assurance, we pull the engine and transmission oil pans for inspection and check for excessive wear, metal, or foreign objects. All automatic transmission will have some material in the pan or on the magnet. Consult with your supervisor if you are unsure of what is an acceptable amount. Write stock number on the inside of the pans and take a picture of each to document the condition. Make sure the pictures are in focus and the stock numbers are legible. Check your paperwork for parts to be removed for stock. Once pulled, they must be clearly marked with the stock number of the vehicle, tagged, and plugged as appropriate. Next, check for parts listed on the dismantling paperwork as CK.ID or Verify Condition. These parts have to be correctly identified or the condition of the part has to be confirmed as not damaged or defective before being sold. Note any changes on your paperwork so the inventory can be updated. Remove all parts noted on the dismantle sheet that are to be cored. Additionally, damaged and unsellable aluminum or copper parts such as wiring, radiators, condensers, bumper reinforcements, cross members, and wheels should be removed and placed in the appropriate scrap bin. Each of these items have a specific core or scrap value that makes them worth the extra effort to process them. Put any other loose, damaged, and unsellable parts into a crush vehicle and make sure they are not on the dismantle report. Clean all trash out of the vehicle. Mark all loose parts with stock number for identification. Every part that is unbolted from the vehicle must be marked legibly with the stock number with a paint marker. When applicable, clearly mark LH or RH for left or right and FT or RR for front or rear to properly identify parts that can be difficult to distinguish when loose in the vehicle. Take extreme care when placing loose parts back into the vehicle. Generally, lighter and easily damaged parts should be stacked on top of heavier parts. We sell many interior components. Do not damage them with parts or fluids. Prepare the vehicle for moving out of bay and notify your supervisor when you are finished so you both can conduct the post-dismantle vehicle inspection, also called a Re-9. This helps confirm and correct the current condition of the vehicle and its parts before the vehicle goes to the yard. Turn in your completed paperwork with compression readings recorded, correcting any discrepancies in the inventory, and having resolved all items needing checked or verified. Once the Re-9 is complete and the vehicle is ready to be removed from the shop, lower the hoist and remove the arms from under the vehicle. Guide the forklift operator in safely removing the vehicle from the shop. Utilize the time waiting for the next vehicle to clean your bay and start the process over again. As a dismantling technician, you are a critical part of the team that makes up the B&R operation. While your primary duties will be testing and dismantling vehicles, you may occasionally be required to perform other functions as needed. These duties could include parts pulling, yard cleanup, returning parts to vehicles, processing vehicles for crushing, or filling in for other positions as directed by your supervisor. For over 50 years, we have been committed to providing our customers with a quality product in a timely manner. You are now an integral part of this process and commitment, so take pride in your work and welcome to the B&R team.